So
So
is that where you feel people should start? I mean, do you have a moment that you sort of, or a technique that you suggest to people, which is how they begin? Would you recommend that they take these small moments in their day to simply breathe or to touch base with themselves in the sense of meditating? Or is that where you would feel people should at least start?
I love that you asked this because this is also part of my, I think it's a unique, pretty stance in the world. But what I actually invite people to do first is look for the Fruit Loop moment.
Mm.
Is to look for the play, because here's the thing, I don't know about you, but I always knew meditating was a powerful practice, but I'll tell you what, I am a big energy being. If you told me to sit down on a cushion, it's like telling my 9-year-old to sit down on a cushion for a few minutes and be quiet. Like, sorry, that's not going to happen. And so that was part of what I found with the process of the happiness prism on a simplest context is I needed play to move the energy first. So a lot of play for me can be movement and getting the energy out. Like I said, it can be watching a funny video on YouTube. It can be sometimes it can be quieter, like having a cup of coffee when that's not your norm, but you feel a desire to enjoy that. But then after that, taking those few breaths. That's when, 3 deep breaths, as you know, just starting there can already shift the experience within you and soothe the nervous system. And then after that, that's when tuning into, okay, what is my next step? What is that
And so
progress piece?
I guess what I'm sort of wanting to say in so many words, Jan, is in order to leave people with some kind of a conclusion, do you feel that you and I are ultimately saying, look, let your dilemmas or problems or issues educate you into recognizing actually there's something that's potentially not so easy for me here, or maybe I don't have all of the answers, or maybe I'm unhappy. Use that as information rather than as something to make you feel particularly worse, and then take that touch point as a direction rather than to focus on it. Encourage yourself to look at what else it is that you now want instead. And
Mm-hmm.
even if that's just a process of learning that you take a few days to work through, you can then encourage yourself to begin to develop ideas about how am I going to make this more enjoyable? How am I going to reach out, find the connections that I need, or take time to be with my family, or reprioritize what I think is actually really important to me, because maybe I've lost sight of that. So I think in a way, many of the guests that I have come on, we're probably talking about empowering ourselves, but we maybe don't use the word, or we don't use it in connection to this. But it is an interesting juxtaposition to say empower yourself to be joyful, isn't it? Because in so many words, I think that's probably what we're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because yes, like when we acknowledge where we're at, because that's also being honest, right? If you're in a
Mm.
state of not where you want to be emotionally and or physically, you've got to start there. But as we both know, you can't dwell on the problem to find the solution. You have to be open to looking for the solution. And that's where joy is a superpower. Because, like what I said with the Fruit Loop moment, it just takes you out of the state of mind for just a moment to offer a refreshing perspective, but to also remind everyone that this is another muscle. It is a muscle. It's something to build at. It's something to stay committed to. It's something to honor day in, day out. And I promise, 100% promise, guarantee that it does get easier.
Practice,
That look,
absolutely.
crummy
Mm.
moments don't go
Mm.
away from me at all. However, I bounce back quicker. And that's the encouragement I want to offer everyone around this personal empowerment piece, because no one else can take 100% responsibility for our own joy, happiness, life experience than ourselves.
No, no.
And it
Honestly,
does,
Jan,
yeah.
thank you so much. I think there are more than just the singular themes that we've covered today. There are elements of resilience in this because, as you say, you learn to bounce back faster. There are elements of problem solving in this because getting some clarity and peace first enables your brain to function better. I think there's even elements of you can focus and get greater clarity if you've paused first rather than just keep pushing at the problem. So I really, really value your time. Thank you so much for coming on today. It's been an absolute joy to have you.